right, what's up, B Stellar crew?
What's going on, everybody? How's it going?
I'm David Wyrick. This is Alex Ostojic. We're here to bring you how to a B Stellar mindset.
Exactly. So today we're going to talk about change. Okay, what is required, okay, to change yourself? What are the steps, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and stuff like that. David, you want to kick it off, brother?
So change, man, everybody needs change. Um, the first thing, me and you actually had a conversation about this morning on the phone. The first step in change is the realization
That you need to
that you
change.
need to change, because nobody can change for you. Nobody can, we can all make suggestions. We do that in each other's lives. And I have other friends that we talk about things in our lives. But until we make that decision to implicate that change, to say, okay, like I'm tired of living this way, or what I'm doing isn't working, it's the realization, it's the recognition that there has to be something different. And you have to be the one to recognize that. I think that's the first step in change, is it has to begin with self-reflection and begin with yourself. In anything, whether it's, a personal preference, whether it's a spiritual thing, whether it's a business, there's something in your life, in your routine, in your habits, in your mannerisms, something that you have to say, okay, I have to change, I have to evolve, I have to move. How do I do that? And you have to make that conscious decision that you're going to change.
Now, the
And
crazy thing is, man, people don't want to change.
no, they say they want change, but action in that aspect, actions do speak louder than words.
I agree. I agree.
Because if you want something, whatever you want is what's going to happen. I mean, and now I'm not talking about like, I want $1 million, but that's not going to fall in my lap. I have to work
Well,
towards
actually, you have to change to
Right.
get that $1 million. Because if you keep doing the same thing over and
Mhm.
over, you're gonna get same results. So, what do you need to do to get that $1 million? Okay, you need to change. You need to evolve. You need to read. You need to do things that you thought you would never do.
Yep.
You got to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Go to these meetings where, I'm the happiest person when I'm in a room, and I'm the dumbest, youngest, poorest person in there.
Yeah.
And most people are not willing to step in there because their ego gets in their way.
Well, you're going to be like whoever you're around, and so when you're around negativity and around people who are always the same, who their idea of a day is to go to work and they come home and do whatever it is they do, but they never make progress in anything. And if you're around those people, that's all you'll do. And when you bring up ideas to them, they're gonna laugh at you, be like,
Yeah.
"What?" Most of the time, probably 80% of the time. You do have those friends that are like, "Man, I'll support you, whatever. This is what I do. But if you want to do something different, cool. I'm down." But most people are like, "Don't. Why are you doing that? You don't need to do all that. You're good where you're at." Because most of the time, change requires something hard.
Well, it requires like looking yourself in the mirror. This is what I did, man. It was like 2015. My daughter was born. Like every Marine, well, not every, but probably 90% of Marines out there, they're broke. They live paycheck to paycheck. I was in the Marines, and I was like, man, what am I doing? What am I doing? I could have been like, I'm good. I got the retirement. I got the benefits. If I just stick it out, I'll be good. But I was like, okay, yeah, let's say I put in another, I think I had like 14 years left. I was like, if I put another 14 years in, what do I get out of this? Is that going to make me happy? I had to look in the future, 14, 15 years, and be like, okay, would that make me happy in 15 years? Will I be the same person I am right now? If it's not going to, make me happy in 15 years, what do I need to do to make sure I'm happy in 15 years?
Mm-hmm.
And then I know what I want. I want to own real estate. I want to own businesses. And I was like, none of that stuff will come from me being in the Marine Corps or staying in the Marine Corps. So what I needed to do is I needed to change my mindset, how I think, how I look at things, who I hang out with, everything. And it's hard at first, right? Because you repeat your habits daily, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are your habits? You're hanging out with your boys. You're miserable driving to work in traffic. After you get out of work, you're rushing home to do nothing, right? So I was like, okay, what do I need to do? So I was rushing home to actually read. I was rushing home to take a class. So it was basic, simple changes in the front, like right away, they kind of got me where I am today, right? The reason we started this podcast is, man, I wish I had somebody to listen to, when I was starting out. And there's a lot of motivational speakers out there, like Tony Robbins, and you got Ed Milet, and you got all these guys. But, they already made it, man. Not a lot of people realize what you need to do day to day in the front. Like, when you just start something, how do you need to change? Because life is a constant change, and you can either take part of it, or you can just let the life go by and not do anything about it,
A lot of ups and downs too, and that's a change of mindset that you have to have. Is like, you know, things don't always go your way.
No.
You,
They almost never go your way.
They almost never go your way.
Yeah.
Like that's like me right now. We talked about how what makes this podcast a little different is what we're doing is we're talking about going through it in the middle of it. And right now, for me, it seems like everything I'm trying to do is just like going backwards.
Mm-hmm.
We had that conversation this morning. You said, "Man, how you doing?" I said, "Man, I like everything I touch is just like falling apart. It seems like." And you said, "Man, you got to get your head out of that and understand that it is going to work." Which helped me, because it is just a day. It's just a day.
Yeah.
Like tomorrow may be completely different.
Yes.
This afternoon may be different than this morning.
Well,
But
you can walk out of here, man, and meet somebody that's going to change your life.
yeah,
You never know. It's just a lot of people give up too soon.
Right.
Like, you got to have that belief, and you got to have you got to kind of believe in yourself that one day something good will happen
as
to
long as
you.
you keep putting in the work. Like I have that image of that. I think it's a meme or it's a picture or something of that guy he's mining. He's got the pickaxe and he's mining, and he quits, and he's like a foot from digging into finding this treasure, but he quit.
That was actually a real story, right?
I didn't know that was a real
So
story.
that was a guy during the gold rush. He was digging somewhere for gold in Oregon, and he got all this equipment. It's actually in a book, Think and Grow Rich.
Okay.
And he was digging. He couldn't find any gold for or barely any. And his expenses were more than his findings, and he shut down the company. He sold his equipment to a guy.
In the mine, probably.
Yep. So the guy that bought the equipment, he went back to the same place where he was digging, dug 3 feet, and hit the biggest gold mine ever in the history.
Oh, that's fun.
So if that guy kept digging for another 3 feet, he would have been like probably one of the richest people ever, right?
Man, and that goes back to last week of don't quit. But if you change your mindset, and sometimes you get to that point though. Like I understand that man's plight. Like when your debts are outweighing your failures are outweighing your successes, and it's costing you, and you just can't afford it.
Yeah, you're drowning.
Yeah, you're drowning. That's a terrible place to be. I've been there. It's a terrible place to be.
I'm there every day, bro.
Yeah, but but you know what I mean. Like you wake up and you just want to cry.
But it's the thing. Like, what are you doing to change it, right? Like we talked about yesterday. If you go do 40 hours at work, obviously we all need income. We got bills to pay, food to buy, kids to support, wife to support, and stuff like that. What are you doing the other 128 hours in a week?
Because we all and that's you got to be doing something. And so there's times though that I mean, are you working? Like that's the thing. Are you working? You have to. That's the part of the mindset that you have to change. Is like, if you want to be successful, in like an entrepreneur type, there is no time off. There is no days off.
You're constantly working.
You're constantly so you leave one business to go to another, whether it's your job or whether you have a couple of businesses yourself. You leave one job to go to the next, or you stay at one job until whatever is complete. Sometimes 16, 17 hours a day. You have to get it done. And that's a mindset thing, because I was thinking this morning, driving past all these houses in Joplin, about all these people that just have jobs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're most of them, I'm going to go into assume, are financially okay if you live within your means.
Yes.
And that's the hardest part about being an entrepreneur, being a self-employed, is that, on a regular job, you can budget to be within your means.
Yes,
You know
because
what I
you know
mean?
exactly how much money
You
is
make
coming
$800 a week.
in. Yep.
So you know, okay, I'm gonna have $3,200 this month. So I can have 30. This is where I need to be.
Yes.
I can't go past this. And sadly, in entrepreneurship, man, you might have a month where you killed it.
Yeah, you
You're
make
like
like
everything's
30
feeling
grand
great,
one month and
everything's
then
getting,
make
but the next
$0
like
next
2
month.
months, like you got
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so to pick where your means is, where are my means? Because if you live in that 30,000 a month lifestyle, but you don't make $30,000 a month,
Consistently.
then you're in trouble. Then it's like frantic panic mode of how do I get to, how do I make, which I wouldn't say necessarily is a bad thing. It's don't ever go get yourself in a bunch of debt, but have a good motivator of why you have to get up in the morning. You know what I mean? Like, what are you chasing something, or is something chasing you? You know what I mean? Are you chasing a dream, or do you have bills chasing you and you just have to get up and go get it? Otherwise, like,
Yes.
you're gonna die because
That-
everything's going backwards.
That's what we talked about last week. You know, most people will get up, go to a job because they have to. But then they start a business, something that can free them up for them from that job if they stick to it. But they quit on themselves because they don't believe in themselves.
Yeah.
So you believe in yourself to go build somebody else's dream, work for somebody else's business, but you don't believe in yourself to build something for yourself, for your kids, for your family, to leave a legacy. You know, what do you do 40 years and go retire? What are you leaving for your kids? Like me, I want to leave my kids businesses. I want to leave them a mindset to believe they can achieve whatever they want, right? And I had to change myself into that person because I was going to do 20 years in the Marines. That was my goal. I went in, I was going to do 4, get out and be SWAT team, right? Go to SWAT, go do cop stuff. But then I loved the Marine Corps, and then I stayed in. So I re-enlisted once, and then I'm telling you, man, my daughter was born, and I was like, man, what am I going to leave for this little girl? Like, what kind of life do I want to have? And it always gets worse before it gets better. So the transition was a pain in the ass, if you want to call it that, right? You know, businesses fail, things happen, nothing goes the way you want it. And I was just telling somebody the other day, about 2 months ago, I woke up and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be okay. For the first time in 2.5 years, right? I was like, I'm going to be okay. I grounded myself. And I see myself only going up from here on, right? And in order for me to be in that position, last 2 years, I had to go through a lot of stuff. And I had to change my mindset. Is my financial situation different? No. I just woke up and my mindset flipped. It was that simple. So I had to change my mindset, and it took about 2.5 years of working on myself, reading all these books, going to all these seminars, listening to all the motivational speeches, going to the gym, trying to stay in shape when I'm out of the Marine Corps. Nobody's forcing me to run. You know, everybody goes, hey, you Marines are disciplined. You guys get up at 4 a.m. No, you're not disciplined. You have to do it. That's why you do it. Now, are you going to do it when you get out?
Because you're
So
the
you-
only person making you do it.
Yes, so
Yeah.
it's only up to you. So you have to change your mindset like, hey, I need to go to the gym 3, 4, 5, 6 times a week. And what it is, it's a mindset change.
Yeah.
You have to change your mindset because, like I see, dude,
It's
I
a
see
habit too. You know, it's a
Yes.
habit where it becomes part of your life. You have to make a lifestyle. You know, you choose your lifestyle. You know, for some people are gym rats, man. They're at the gym 2-3 hours a day.
Yes.
That's their life.
They make it a priority.
But it became a habit. It became a habit. Like I get up and go to the gym in the morning. That's a habit. For me, I get up and drink 1 cup of coffee every morning. You know, like I need to go to the gym, but I haven't done that yet. And like you said, this is a podcast about in the middle of change.
Yes.
You know, there's been times where I've went to the gym 2 or 3 times a week for a month, and then something happens and I stop going, and I just don't go.
That's because you,
you
don't
know,
prioritize it.
right.
Like, it's not a priority to
And
you.
you know, and sometimes I'm just straight up, I'm tired. I work, 12, 14 hours in construction, and like I just
Yeah.
don't feel like going. I worked late or stayed up late, and that's not that's an excuse, but that's a real life thing. It's too. It's like I just, we find reasons to not do things. Let's just be honest. Like
Yeah,
if we
we
don't,
do. If you don't wanna do something,
I
you'll find
enjoy
a reason.
I enjoy the gym. It's not that I don't want to. It's just I just don't. And that's something I have to change. More to come on that. We'll see how that progresses through the podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe one of these days I'll come to, man, I went to gym 5 days this week. Oh.
I'll keep you accountable. Well, on working a lot, right? You got to be able to change your mindset to go home to be productive. Like
Yeah.
if you have a job, that's okay. I started with a job. You started with a job, right? We all start with jobs.
And I'm not against going and getting a job now.
Yeah, no.
If it's something I have to do because the thing is, my family eats before anything. You know
Yeah,
what I
of
mean?
course.
So if I come to a point in business where like I'm not making money, your boy's getting a job at McDonald's at night. Like, and regardless of how terrible that sounds, like there will never be a point where I am so proud that I won't go make $300 a week, so at least my family has something, and I'm still working. I've done it before. When me and my wife first got married, I made $8 to $10 an hour in construction, and had a rent, and had everything, and I had to pay my bills. $8 to $10 an hour for a wife and a kid, that's not a lot of money. So I worked in a factory at night, and I fell off a roof. Straight up did. Hey, dude, I hadn't slept in like 38 hours, because I would work 6 to 6, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., come home, I would eat breakfast. My wife would make me breakfast. Then I would try to sleep for like 30 minutes, and then I would go roof until like 2:30, 3 o'clock. And then I would come home, eat, and then try to sleep for like 2 hours. And I did that for a while, and then I just got to where I couldn't sleep because it's just, so much going on. And I was roofing just a little modular home. I'm talking like it was wasn't steep at all. Mm-hmm. And just because of cognitive function, my foot slipped a little bit at the bottom, and I stepped in one of those plastic gutters, and I just didn't have enough like gumption to turn and like not fall. I just fell right on my face like 13 feet. Yeah. I almost smacked into a dump trailer, like a full steel dump trailer.
That would have hurt.
It probably would have killed me. It probably would have broke my neck.
So even right now you work like, 14, 16-hour days. You just work because you want to, and you work for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, well, nobody else is going to finish the project. You know what I mean? Like, I have a guy who works for me, and he does a pretty good job. He doesn't know how to do everything, so I have to still step in. But, I just have projects to finish. I'm making a transition in my business to work with some other people to try to free myself up for doing financial services. And hopefully I could still, like I said, in entrepreneurship, that's the thing is that, like, it's hard to budget your money because you don't know what money's coming in and what money's going, you know what I mean? So to say, like, okay, I'm going to have $4,000 this month, you can't do that.
You don't know.
No, you don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you hope, but if you don't finish a project, it's not coming in. So you have to work 16 hours a day. And, and I have kids. My oldest daughter's in volleyball. So I go to all her games because I want to make sure that her dad is present at those things. When she looks in the stands, I don't want her to look up and be like, oh, where's my dad?
Dude, I hate it. I actually played volleyball for high school, and my dad showed up for one game in 4 years.
Yeah.
And that game, it turned out. So I was an MVP in my volleyball team in my high school, right? But it turned out that one game wasn't my best game. And on the way home, all I heard is, that missed shot and that missed that. Like, doesn't matter that I won the MVP at the end of the year. Anyways, keep going.
Dude, volleyball's intense though. Like, when you watch it on TV or whatever, you're like, man, that's pretty crazy. But like when your kid's in it, so like Saturday, this is a completely different subject, but I'm just going to share it anyway. So Saturday, my daughter's in a volleyball tournament, right? They played like 5 games. Well, one of the games, they play to 25, and you have to win by 2. And dude, this game is like, they're playing Aurora, and it's like 24-25, 25-25, 26-25, 26-26. And I'm talking like, dude, it's a nail biter. I'm like, oh my God, because they're playing to play for the championship. So there'll be 4 teams, that play. And so they're playing, and it's like 24-25, 25, 25. I'm just like, jeez, like it's like nail biting. Like, come on.
Oh, it is. It is.
So like when it's your kid, it means a whole lot more. So this girl, like she's their setter, or was, but she bruised her arm. I saw it last night. She has it in a sling. They don't know if she broke her growth plate or not yet, but she just kept playing. Like, she's crying and still playing. She just refused to quit. And I was like, my wife was like, why would they do that? And I was
That's
like,
a winner.
I said, she's an athlete. I
No,
said,
that's a winner, dude.
That's what athletes do. I said, they have a broken arm and they just keep playing, and then afterwards she's like, well, that's stupid. I'm like, yeah, but like, that's what it takes to be successful, is like, even in business, is like, you just can't quit, because financially you'll find yourself with a broken leg or a broken arm, just as an analogy.
Yeah.
And if you just go sit on the bench, guess what? It's over. You're
Sometimes
done.
you'll just get sick, man. And if you just drag that out, like if you get sick, like last week you were sick, right? Or
I
2
did.
weeks
I had
ago.
I had the COVID.
Yeah, COVID.
The COVID. I mean, I did. Like it.
No, I believe you, man.
It messed me up.
There's no more flu in 2022.
Do you know?
Just COVID
But do you know what happened though? Is what's crazy. Is that what I hate about being sick, or I hate about vacations and stuff? Is it messes with my sleep schedule. Like, I'm a pretty big, like, I want to be in bed by 10 so I can get up like at a decent time. And so, like, being sick, you sleep at odd hours and then you're up all night, and then whenever you're done being sick, like, it's like I can't sleep. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's like time to go to bed, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not tired. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you read a little bit, and you watch TV, and you listen to stuff, and you're just like, something make me tired. Like, I need to sleep because I've got to get up in the morning.
Yeah, because you're used to, like, your body's just used to going and going and going, and it takes change to get your body to that point.
It takes
too.
change. Yeah, I taught Sunday school Sunday, and I talked about choices. Like in church, in just life. We'll just talk about life.
Yeah.
Life is a choice.
Yes.
Life is a choice.
I believe that 100%.
People say, well, I don't have a choice. You always have a choice. You just might not be able to choose, if that makes sense. Like, you didn't have to do what you did to put you in the predicament that you're in. It was a choice to put you there. I put myself in bad situations all the time like that, because I make a terrible choice, and then I'm like, oh, you're an idiot. And I can't get out of it. But I made a choice to get there.
Like Jay, Oklahoma?
Right, yeah. So now what do I do? Now what do I do to change that, though? Because now I've put myself in a predicament where the choice I made put me in a bad situation. How do I overcome that? How do I change that to make it to the next level? Do I lay down and just say, I can't do it? You know what I mean? Or do I say, okay,
Make another choice and
I'm
change
going to make
it.
another choice, and I'm going to put on my tighten up my bootstraps and just go to work, because that's the only choice I have. Because I don't want to have a bad reputation. I would rather have a good reputation and less money than have a whole bunch of money and a bad reputation.
Of course.
I was
Because they'll
talking,
catch up to you, man.
yeah, I
They'll
was
catch up
talking to
you.
a guy this morning. He said that his uncle moved to California, had a really successful business, got in trouble with the IRS, lost a whole bunch of stuff, moved back here, bought a $7,000 house, financed it, had to finance a $7,000 house,
Jesus.
but then turned around and now is a multimillionaire again,
Wow.
twice.
It's the mentality, bro. I'm
And
telling
so,
you.
and it's the mentality. He made a choice. Like, that's the thing. We're talking about change. Change begins with a choice. It's, do I want to work this dead end job for the rest of my life? Do I want to have this factory job? If you do, great. Like, that's good for you. But if you don't, and you want to do something different, the change has to happen here first.
It does.
It has to happen with, okay, how do I make this different? I talk about that in church all the time. People talk, well, we just don't have good church, blah, blah, blah. What are you doing to have good church? Like, do you bring good church with you? Or do you just come expecting somebody else to bring it to you? Like,
Yeah.
do you want to see God move in your life?
Well, people don't take responsibility. It's easier if you blame somebody else. If you blame somebody else, that means you have nothing to do. You can't do nothing about it. You don't have to do nothing about
Right.
it. You can just sit there, feel sorry for yourself, right?
It's always somebody else's
Yeah,
fault
yep.
for you because you made a choice. You know what I mean? Like, there's people out there, you see it on the news all the time, people out there crying victim. Oh, life is so bad. Like, dude, you live in 2022.
Yeah.
You have every ample opportunity as everyone else. Like, it doesn't, to me, listen, I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care what gender you aren't.
What religion you are.
What religion? Like if we're talking about opportunities, you have every opportunity everyone else does.
We live in America, bro.
You may be in a different place, and you may not have received the same step up maybe as everyone else did, because there's people out there that are more financially stable, and they pass that on to their kids, which is what we teach, by the way. We educate people how to do that.
Yeah.
So, but, and that's great because somebody made a choice. Somebody buckled down and said, you know what? I'm going to make something of myself. You as an immigrant know that more than anybody because you came from literally less than what most of America has and decided to do something different.
So,
But you made a
think-
choice. You made a
yes.
change.
So I think that immigrants are brought into the United States to be a workforce. Okay, because I just see like all these jobs that, you know, I know a lot of Americans that like, I would never do that. Like my mom, she cleans buildings, you know, and there's a bunch of people from my country, you know, Serbians, Croatians, Bosnians, whatever, they work in the same building and they do the same job, and it's all immigrants.
Yeah.
You know, they take out trash, they clean people. So my mom, you know, she's 58, and I was visiting her this weekend up in Chicago, and she was like, yeah, this kid that works in the office is like 25, and I'm going in there picking up his trash.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that we're a workforce, and that's what I write about in my book. Okay, that's about to come out in a few months here. And what the book is about is just because we came to the country, you know, if you're an immigrant listening out there, doesn't mean you need to just go get a job. Make a change, do something different than what your community is doing. Move away. Like I was living in Chicago, Southside Chicago, all my people drive trucks. And some of them are multimillionaires doing it. They own trucking companies. You know, I got a cousin in Dallas, Texas, bro. This guy's a multimillionaire. Like, he's got his own jet. He started driving trucks 22 years ago. Like, that's insane.
That's cool.
From a truck driver to come. Dude, he's got like bus companies back in the country, textile factories, like all kinds. He's got a textile factory in North Carolina.
Yeah.
He's got a whole like a 700-acre ranch with like 4 or 5 houses on there with people,
That's
private
great.
strip, a jet, all kinds of stuff. And he did it through trucking.
Yeah,
I never saw myself driving a truck.
I have a friend who just quit construction to go drive a truck. He bought his own truck and
Yeah, you
drives
can make
his
a
own
lot
truck.
of money. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it. But like all my people, that's all they do is drive a truck. So it's like monkey see, monkey do. And then they all complain, oh, I'm on the road all the time. I sleep in a truck all the time. So make a freaking change. Go do something else. So I joined the Marines because I knew I was never going to drive a truck, number one. Number two, I wanted to get away from my community because they're toxic, right? They backstab each other in the back. And I hated Southside Chicago. Gangs, shootings, all
They
kinds
don't-
of stuff,
they-
robberies.
They don't have any guns.
It's
They're-
just-
they outlawed all the guns.
Bro, don't get me started on that. We're gonna be here for 3 hours. But then I was like, okay, so I waited up for an opportunity to make a change, and Marine Corps opportunity showed up, and I was like, boom, I'm gonna take it. And me and 2 of my best friends went to boot camp together, and we're sitting on a bus, this little small bus. We're going to Indianapolis, Indiana, to the airport to go to boot camp. And I look at him and I'm like, hey, this is my way out. I'm never coming back. Like, I'm just never coming back. I knew I needed to get out of there. I knew it was too toxic. I knew it was not going to get me anywhere. I was spending all my money on stupid shit, right? Like, not saving my money, nothing like that. I wasn't saving in the Marine Corps either, but at least I saw the world. I went everywhere, you know, did something.
And you
got me
knew
out
another
of-
paycheck was coming in anyway.
Yeah, it was a steady paycheck job. Like at that time, you know, dude, 2008, like I lost my job. Like I was in debt like 60 grand, all credit cards, personal loans, just a bunch of collection stuff. It was just ridiculous, man. So Marine Corps got me to pay all that off. Steady job, seen the world. And it's like, I always wanted to go to Afghanistan, but they never sent me, you know, and I always went on these places like Philippines and Thailand, and I was just looking at all these poor people. It kind of reminded me. And that's when I started believing in God. I'm like, maybe God put me there to remind me, this is where you come from. You come from a poor place like this, like you're in America, you're in country of opportunity. Like you need to go out there and go freaking do something. Do something different, right? So that's why like I wrote a book about it, because I didn't want to drive a truck. I knew I needed to change. I knew I needed to do something different. And Now I got 2 businesses. I'm living in Joplin, Missouri. Never thought I would do that. And people are like,
Well,
why
this
you
is one
moved
of the
to
it's one of the cheapest areas to live in the
I
country.
think it's great for entrepreneurs, man.
Yeah.
I think it's great because right now a lot of stuff is remote through the internet, right? You can live anywhere and reach out to the whole world.
Yeah.
So we lived in Vegas. I wasn't happy. I'm like, I need a change. So you do something about it. You don't just sit there and complain
I know.
about
I
it.
hate when people complain about
Oh
stuff,
my
but they
God,
don't
man.
do anything to change it. Like, if you listen, this is for the people around you. If you don't like what you're doing, but you're not doing anything to change it, shut up. You don't get to complain.
Don't complain.
You don't get to. If you're not going to change, if you're not going to attempt to change, be quiet. People get tired of hearing it. People get tired of hearing about how miserable you are and you don't do anything different. People get tired of hearing about how you hate your job, but you just keep going. Like, I know you have to pay your bills, but there are other things out there. Find something else that you enjoy and do it. Otherwise, be quiet.
Yeah, make
Like,
a change.
That's like voting. If the person we
Oh
voted
my
for,
God, man.
if you voted and the person that you voted for didn't get elected, you can complain all you want because you voted. But if
Dude.
you didn't vote, shut up because you didn't have to try to change anything. And I don't know if you're one of those people that think that your vote doesn't matter. I don't care. Go vote.
I thought you were going to go a different way. I would have taken the conversation completely different
I
way.
steered it away. I steered it away from
Like
that.
if you live in California, and you voted Democrat your whole freaking life, and the taxes are up, the food is expensive, the gas is $9 a gallon, and all that stuff, and you come to a new area where you can actually survive, don't vote Democrat again, because guess what they're gonna do? Same crap that what you ran from. Same thing. That's what I wanted to take it.
I kind of knew that. I was kind of steering it away from the because dude, we get into politics, we'll be here.
It is not a
that'll be
political
long,
podcast,
That'll
but
be a
every
long.
once in a
It'll be a
while.
long podcast.
Yeah, every once in a while it needs to be said.
Be around people that have your same mindset though. Like, so if you want to change and you want to be different, but the people around you aren't allowing that,
You gotta drop them.
find new people. Like, it's okay to associate with them, but don't hang around with them all the time.
Yes.
Because as much as I want to say positive, change is negative. Negative will affect positive more than positive will affect negative.
Yes, because
it's
the
just
whole
a fact
world is
of life.
negative.
It's easier to be negative.
Yes.
It's easier to sit here and say, "Oh, it's never going to happen. Oh, nothing's going to do." Oh, because positivity takes work. Negativity doesn't take anything. Being a positive person every day takes work, especially when you look at your financial situation or you look at your health situation or things are just going wrong, and for you to stay positive in the midst of that takes so much willpower. It doesn't after a while. You might, like, I woke up kind of negative this morning, but after a little bit, like, I was like, you know what, like,
Then you talked to me.
I talked to him, and on the same choice, like, I had to make a choice to say, okay, like, I'm not going to be negative today. Like, what is it going to do for me to be? I'm going to be grumpy. I'm going to not be I'm not going to be able to talk to people. And I went to a meeting this morning. Imagine being at that meeting, being negative, like sitting there all sourpuss. Like, am I going to like literally be able to talk to people about anything? They're going to come up to me and be like, what's up? I'm like, hey, it's good, man. Everything's great.
Yeah, I ran it. I used to be that way.
Yeah.
I used to be, and sometimes I am that way still like that. I just try if I have a day like that, I still work. I still stay productive. I just try not to interact with people because I don't want to rub that off on other people, right? And then it's always good, like, I got you in business with me, so I give you a call and you're like, hey, man, everything's going to be all right. And, you got to find the running mate.
Yeah.
You got to find, in anything you do, you got to find the running mate. And then when you have those days, right, because you gotta understand, most of the world is negative. You turn on the news, it's negative. You talk to your uncle, it's negative. You talk to your grandma, grandpa, whatever, everything's negative. So in order for you to change your mind and become a positive person, you have to surround yourself by positive people.
And the negative people, until they see the results of your positivity, they won't change.
Yeah, they won't believe in you either.
They won't. So, like, you start something and you get away from them, and then a year from now you come back in. So, say that you're overweight, right? And you start going to the gym, and they're like, "I don't know what you're doing that for. You've tried that 15 times and it's never worked." You got to get away from that because that it will affect your mindset. You got to get away from it. So, you know what? No, I can do this. I can be skinny, or skinnier, whatever your goal is. And then you come back a year from now and you've lost a bunch of weight and they're like, whoa, you know, that positivity affects them then, but the
Yes.
negativity will affect you now. So if you want to start a business, they're, oh, I don't think, instead of helping you, they're like, oh, you know, blah, blah, blah. But a year from now, when you're doing whatever it is you're doing, whether it's, you know, you've went to 3/4 time instead of, you know, half time, or you start doing it full time, then they're like, oh, wow, look what you're doing. You know what I mean? That's great. Uh, but until you get away from them and make that choice of like, okay, I'm gonna do this, regardless of what it is, I'm gonna do this. Like you gotta get away from those people. You have to make the choice that I'm gonna be positive, that this is going to work, that's going to happen, and you just got to keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing. There is no days off. Like even when you take a break, it's not a day off. It's okay. Sometimes I just need to refresh my mind. We talked about that last week. I need to refresh my mind, but the choice is I will not quit. I'm going to start. I'm going to be different. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to change it for my kids. I'm going to change it for my spouse. I'm going to change it for myself. Things are going to be different. And you just have to make that choice. You have to make that change in your mind every day that you wake up that things can be different and I can make them different.
And you got to find motivation to do that. Like my motivation are my kids, man. Like I see my little baby, she's 18 months, and I just see her, and there's nothing in this world I wouldn't do for her. Nothing. And I don't care how many times I need to change, how many times I need to evolve my mindset, how many people I need to get turned down by, how many people I need to run into, how many times I need to be uncomfortable. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, dude. Every time when I feel like, hey, this is not going to work or something like that, I just think of my little girl, right? My other two kids too. And I'm like, it has to happen. Like it has to. So just change. Just literally change. Change your mindset. That's all. It's all about the mindset. People are poor because their mindset is poor. Okay, people are rich because their mindset is rich. You know, they say if you took the top 2% people or 5%, whatever they own, all the wealth in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they took it away from them, distributed it to everybody else. Within 10 years, those people
Would have all the wealth again.
would have all the wealth again. Why? Is their mindset, right? So most people don't have the mindset to operate like that, operate on those levels with those skills. So go out there, learn a skill, read a book, talk to people, be uncomfortable. Put yourself in a situation where you're the dumbest, youngest person in the room. That's when you're growing the most. That's when you're changing the most. It will rub off of you. Don't just sit in the house, feel sorry for yourself, and expect to change. That's not how it works. You have to take action. You have to get out there and go do
And
something.
learn to take criticism.
Yes.
Learn to be told no. Learn to be told that you suck.
Yes.
You know, regardless of how it's put. Like when somebody says, "Hey, you suck at this," don't go, "Well, I'm just going to quit." Learn how to be better.
Learn how to be better.
Like
You know,
practice. Practice is what makes everything perfect. You know, whether it's in sports, you know, the people that make it to the NFL are the ones who work hard.
yes.
You know, people who graduate top of their class, 9 times out of 10, they had to work to get there. Like it's not they're the ones that are studying and not going out and doing stuff. You know, like it takes work to be the best. And guess what? Sometimes people need to be told you suck.
They do. You know, I was listening to Les Brown the other day, and he said if you, average American reads one book a year. If you read one book a month, that's it, just one book a month, which let's say if the book has 300 pages, that's 10 pages a day. That's literally like 10, 15 minutes of reading every day. In any field, pick any field, whatever it is. In 5 years, you would be more knowledgeable about that field than a person that has a PhD in that field.
Makes sense.
That's just crazy. So 15 minutes a day consistently over 5 years will literally change you. It's going to make you top 1% in that field, top 5% of people in that
I hate
field.
walking into a hardware store and people asking me if I need help because like I've been doing construction for so long. I'm just like there's been times that I've been in their stores and there used to be a guy in plumbing here at Lowe's
Mm-hmm.
and he knew more than and he was never a plumber. But he went to classes and read books and knew everything there was to know about plumbing.
Yeah.
And you could tell him, hey, I have this, blah, blah, blah. And he'll go, well, you need this. And you'd be like, no. And he'd be like, I bet you do. He said, they only make it like that. I watched him talk to a contractor one time. And he says, I bet it, so, and it worked. Like, whatever field you're going in, whether it's construction, whether it's financial services, whether it's a t-shirt business, like we live in an age where education is available on your smartphone.
Just Google it.
YouTube, Google, Masterclass, anything.
Dude, you know how I learned how to use Photoshop? I actually refreshed myself last night. I was doing some designs for this guy, and actually came back really quickly. I haven't used Photoshop in 2 years, and
It's like riding a bike, huh?
kicked ass. It kicked ass last night, man. I really did. It was
good.
It felt good. But I learned how to use Photoshop. Dude, I was a guy growing up. I hated computers. I was like, man, I'm not gonna waste my time on that. Computers will never take off. It will never happen. I had a computer class when I was a kid. I completely butchered it. I failed it. Like, I just never, I'm not a computer savvy type of guy. But if I kept saying that to myself, I would have never learned Photoshop. I would have never learned how to edit videos. I would have never learned anything, right? So what do? You change your mindset. You go from a guy, oh, I'm not a computer type of guy, to let me see if I can learn this. What if I could learn this? Now I can edit my own video. I don't have to pay somebody 50 or 100 bucks, right? So that's, you just got to change it. Go from I can't do this to what if I could do this.
That's how I feel about social media.
Yeah, I'll get you on there, bro. Like, I'll get you on there. We need to get you moving.
Oh, I can't even give you a social media to look me up on. Oh my gosh, that's terrible in this day and age. I know that.
He's got Facebook and Instagram, but he's got like 5 followers.
I actually don't have Instagram at all.
Oh, you don't? I
no,
thought you did.
I have to recreate one. I don't ever use it because, like, in the construction world, like, we don't use it. We use it to, like, advertise. So we, like, put the name of our business out there, put a picture of something we build, but, like, it's not the same as doing this. So this is another one of those things that you're gonna have to learn with me. You're gonna have to go with me. Like, hopefully a year from now we'll look back at the third episode. Like, I'll be like, bro, I got Instagram, I got the Facebook, I've got TikTok, I've got all these things. Follow me, blah blah blah. Right now, I could just, hey, listen to Be Stellar. Stay with us. Sharing our journey. That's what we're after. Sharing our journey. We're gonna bring other people on. We decided to make a choice. We decided to make a change. We wanted to involve the rest of the world in the journey that we're making, and I think that's awesome. And I hope you do too. Like, so, make a change in your life. If you're not happy, make a change. It starts with you. That's the whole thing of today. We went through a lot of stuff, but that's the theme of today, is to be stellar, to reach higher than you've ever reached before, if that's the correct way to say that, is to change your mindset.
You have to change your mindset.
100%.
That's it. If you don't, that's why, like, this area right here in Midwest, it's very hard to change people's mindsets.
They're very stubborn.
They're very stubborn, man. And, my people are very stubborn too. So I'm kind of like used to it a little bit.
Yeah.
I used to be dude, if you told me 12 years ago, even, let's say 14 years ago, all right, like when I was 21, 22, if you told me, hey, you're going to spend 10 years in the Marines. After you get out, you're going to own 2 businesses. You're going to podcast, dude. I couldn't even talk. Okay, so about 3 years ago, this is talk about change, right? 3 years ago, I opened up my t-shirt business, right? And I wanted to do my first video on Instagram. For a 15-second video, and all I wanted to say is, hey, do you like this shirt? I had a shirt on the video. Go to blackeagledesign.com and, purchase this shirt. I did 78 takes for a 15-second video. That's how scared I was to talk in front of camera.
I wish we had a computer screen that we could watch that.
Bro,
I would love to see
terrible,
that right
man. It was, dude, I had this little small
We'll
one-bedroom apartment in California, and I took out my living room, my TV, I threw everything out, my bed, right? I had a little, I unrolled the sleeping bag in a corner. I sent my wife and kids to Las Vegas, and I was just grinding 24/7, just printing T-shirts. I made my living room. I put a T-shirt printer in there. I got all these, like, pre-treatment and chemicals and stuff that I was spraying, and a computer setup and a desk, work desk and all that. And my one bedroom that I had, it was a 600 square foot apartment, so you can, kind of imagine how big it was. Kitchen was just literally for eating, and then my small bedroom was all shelves full of t-shirts, right? And I had like a little corner left aside where I was sleeping at, right? So I changed into that too, so I can launch a business and I can actually do something, right? But anyways, the 78 takes for a 15-second video, and now we got a podcast. That's what I'm freaking talking. Talk about change, guys.
Change. Talk about change. Find people that want to change. Talk about it. Talk about it. Keep it on your mind. Okay, when a negative thought pops in your head, change it to a positive thought.
Yes.
Change from I can't to I can.
I recommend a book. It's called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Look it up on YouTube. It's free. Just listen to it. I listened to it once. I listened to it twice, 3 times, 4 times. I got addicted. Like, it will fix your mindset. You're going to understand why you think the bad way, why you think the negative way, why you think the positive way. It really changed my life, man. I mean, and it was only like, and I think when I listened to it for the first time is when I felt like I got grounded, right? Because it really, like every book I read, it changes my life in a way.
Sure.
Because I really take all the information in and I try to become a better person. I try to become a person people are willing to follow. People are willing.
You read to change?
Yeah.
Oh.
Isn't that crazy? Most people don't read, huh?
Yeah.
What they do read, like magazines and
Do
stuff
people
they're going
still
to
read
spend money on.
magazines?
I don't know, man. I see them always in the grocery stores and stuff.
Maybe they do. I don't know.
Maybe.
We live in such an age, like I wonder if people still read the newspaper.
I don't think anybody. I mean, you got news articles on,
Well, you got magazines on your phone.
They feed you everything for free. You don't even have to go out there and purchase it. It's free.
Gosh.
And you should question
careful-
everything
be careful
that is
what-
free.
Be careful what you eat. That's going to be another podcast. Oh gosh. I
Yeah.
tell my kids all the time, you are who you hang out with. So
100%. I
Change.
didn't believe that when I was younger, and it's just because I didn't see it. Right?
it's amazing what years will what years. It's like watching your
Yeah.
kids, you're like, that dude's fixing to break his arm.
Yep,
You know what I
yep.
mean? Like, you just know, like, you've
'Cause you
been
went
there,
through it.
you've
You've
done
been
it.
there, yeah.
Which is why all these millionaire guys that they have the experience, they can say, I went through that, and that's so great. Like, I love positive, motivational people that get out there and say, I'm here now, and this is what it took to get here. Like, good for you for sharing your story. You inspire us. That's awesome. So, I think to end today, don't be afraid of change. Don't allow fear to stop you from walking in your faith, regardless of what that is. Stop letting fear stop you. Change. Don't embrace the change. Don't fear it. Just embrace the change. Choose to be different. It's hard, but you can do it. You can do it.
Change is part of life. You want it or not, you're going to change through life. And what you do with that change is going to determine the outcome of your life. If you're going to be nice and set off when you're 65 and you want to retire, you have a choice to retire or not. It's all going to, it all depends on how you embrace the change, I believe.
Change.
Yeah. Change,
Sure.
guys. Thank you guys
Thank
very
you, guys.
much. Subscribe to our channel. Okay. We're on Apple Podcast. We're on Spotify and YouTube. Love you guys. We'll be back next week.
Yep.
Thank you guys very much.
Be stellar.
Don't forget to be stellar.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
All right.
Have a
Thanks,
great
guys.
Have a great day, everybody.